405. 405. There you go.
Terence Crawford is fully locked in training camp, preparing intensely for his upcoming super fight against Canelo Alvarez in September. However, Caron Davis talked about being in the ring with both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He said, "Preparation will be very important for the fight in September. Crawford is moving up to 168 pounds and has been training hard. Crawford has been sitting at a higher weight for some time, and the training he is doing now will help him." He also said Canelo has more experience at that weight and is used to it. Crawford also has great experience, so Davis thinks the fight will be like a chess match. He expects a great fight, but if he had to choose a winner, he would pick Canelo because he is already strong at 168 pounds. Davis said it is very hard for someone to move up so many weight classes and still win, but if anyone can do it, it would be Terence Crawford.
Have you been in there with Crawford?
Yeah.
So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo's experience, but then you got Crawford, he got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168. And it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody can do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
On the other hand, Alexander Usyk spoke about the upcoming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He said it is a very hard fight to pick, and for him it is a 50-50 matchup. Usyk said both fighters are great, but when it comes to pound for pound, he believes Terence Crawford is number one.
Finally, Canelo Crawford.
Very hard. 50-50. For me, pound for pound, number one is Terence Crawford.
However, Terence Crawford is deep into an intense training camp as he prepares for his upcoming fight against Canelo Alvarez. Known for his discipline and focus, Crawford has been training with full dedication every day. His camp includes long morning runs, heavy bag work, mitt sessions, and strength conditioning. He is also sparring with bigger fighters to adjust to the 168-pound weight class. Crawford's team is making sure he keeps his speed and sharp movements while building strength. His coach Brian Bomac McIntyre watches every detail to make sure nothing is missed. In the afternoons and evenings, Crawford studies Canelo's past fights to understand his patterns and weaknesses. He works on his defense, footwork, and counterpunching, knowing that timing will be key in this matchup. The training camp has been private but intense, with very few distractions. Everyone in the camp is focused. Crawford knows this is the biggest fight of his career and is preparing like it.
405. 405. There you go.
Moreover, Sebastian Fundora shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. When asked if he thinks Crawford can beat Canelo, Fundora said he does not think so. He explained that Canelo has been fighting at 168 pounds for 4 or 5 years and is much more comfortable at that weight. While he called Crawford a great fighter, Fundora believes the size and experience at the super middleweight division give Canelo the edge. He added that anything can happen in boxing, but Canelo is used to the weight class. When asked if Canelo looked slower in his fight against John Ryder, Fundora disagreed and said Canelo just seemed a little uncomfortable with the matchup, not necessarily slow. He ended by reminding fans that 2 of boxing's biggest stars will fight on May 31st, with Crawford and Canelo sharing the spotlight alongside Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo in a big night for boxing.
Do you think Crawford beats Canelo in a big fight?
I don't think so.
Why is that? Why do you?
It's this guy's more comfortable at 168. He's been fighting 168 for 4 or 5 years now. Crawford's a great fighter. But you know, we'll see. Boxing, anything can happen.
Did it look like Canelo was slowing down against Skull?
No, I think it's just something he's uncomfortable with.
Ray Leonard shared his thoughts on Terence Crawford stepping up to the 168-pound division to battle Canelo Alvarez. He pointed out the large jump in strength and size that comes with moving up in weight, recalling how tough it was for him personally when he fought Donnie Lalonde. Leonard said that while he managed to stay on his feet, every punch from Lalonde felt heavy and painful. He highlighted how fighting men who are naturally heavier bring serious risks. Still, Leonard expressed confidence in Crawford's skills and said he believes Crawford can rise to the challenge and perform well, even if the size difference works against him.
You know, you also moved up to 168 pounds as well.
Yeah. Yes,
you know,
yes.
Terence Crawford is going to try to do that against Canelo. Just your perspective on a fighter like Terence moving up from 47, 54, and fighting Canelo, a bigger guy who's fought naturally bigger guys at 68.
It's a big difference. I mean, when I fought Donnie Lalonde, every time he hit me, he hurt me to a degree. Not knocking out, but he hurt me, put it that way. He can do it. I mean, you can do it. No question about that.
Leonard spoke about the danger of Crawford facing someone naturally bigger like Canelo. He admitted that the difference in size is very real and that people have reason to worry. He remembered having the same issues in his own fights, but Leonard explained that smart tactics, accurate timing, and technical skill can help level things out. In his view, even if Crawford is the smaller man, it is still possible for him to win by using the right plan in the ring.
You know, what about Crawford do you think can bridge the weight gap, or like with you, what did bridge the weight gap? Because a lot of people are just saying, hey, Canelo's just too big for someone like Terence.
I mean, that's true, but you know what? There's always a way. Put it that, there's always a way. There's always a way to win.
Teddy Atlas talked about the concerns people have with Terence Crawford moving up in weight to face Canelo Alvarez. He reminded everyone that boxing history has many examples where smaller fighters beat bigger ones. While some say Canelo is too strong and powerful, especially since Crawford once had trouble at 154 pounds after moving up from welterweight, Atlas offered a different view. He said Crawford has speed, movement, smart footwork, and many tools that can turn the size gap into a skill advantage. This, he believes, makes the fight much closer than people might expect.
He had trouble with a 154-pound guy when he went up from welterweight to that. So now he's going up to 168. Teddy, come on. How are you going to make an argument? You'll make an argument to this, to the history of this sport, where little guys have been able to beat big guys, because you reverse it. You reverse who's got the advantage and the disadvantage. Yeah, the size, the power of Canelo, he's got the advantage. Then all of a sudden you go back and you say, wait a minute. The other guy's faster. The other guy's craftier. The other guy has more options. The other guy is slicker. Oh, well, maybe he's got the advantages.
Atlas also said Terence Crawford is not just a talented boxer, but someone with rare gifts like sharp instincts and perfect timing. While he gave credit to Canelo's talent, he explained that Crawford has special qualities that give him a real chance to beat a bigger man. Atlas is excited to watch this fight and sees it as a modern David versus Goliath story.
But I'm one of the people that thinks Crawford is very, very special. I'm not saying Canelo's not, but I think he's special in a different way, where he's got instincts that not everyone has. Yeah. That it's the timing, it's the instinctual things, the X factors, the intangibles that he has. And I think they're going to show themselves. I really do. And I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy.
Oscar De La Hoya shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford by highlighting that both men are now over the age of 35, which is often seen as old in the world of boxing. He remembered how people once said Julio Cesar Chavez was already past his best years at just 32 when they fought, even though Chavez had a 99-1 record at the time. When asked if his opinion changed after seeing Canelo's performance against Jaime Munguia, De La Hoya said it is difficult to tell. He felt that Canelo looked slow in that fight, like he was stuck in quicksand, while Crawford is known for his ability to move, switch styles, and adjust during a fight. Still, De La Hoya raised the question of whether Crawford has enough punching power to keep Canelo from walking him down. Despite these doubts, he called the fight very exciting and said he's truly eager to see what happens.
The facts are that they're over 35 years old both, and I remember I fought Chavez when he was 32 and he was 99-1, and people thought he was over the hill. So,
have you changed your pick for that fight, Oscar, based on how Canelo looked against Skull?
yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because Canelo, you know, obviously he walks on quicksand. We saw it against Skull once again. Crawford is very, you know, he's not one-dimensional. He can move, he can box, he can, you know, I don't know how hard he hits to keep Canelo away from him, but you know, I think it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight.
Manny Pacquiao gave Terence Crawford some advice as he moves up to fight at a higher weight. Pacquiao said that speed and fighting style were the main reasons he succeeded when jumping through weight classes during his career. He believes the same approach will help Crawford, especially against a bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo Alvarez. Pacquiao explained that being faster, smarter, and more active in the ring can make up for any size disadvantage, and he encouraged Crawford to stay sharp and rely on his natural abilities.
Any advice on Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times. Any advice for Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times and you were successful. What do you tell Crawford? Any advice?
My advice to him is just focus on speed and the speed and style. And also style.
Bob Arum took a different approach by focusing on Canelo Alvarez's recent performances. He said Canelo has been acting more like a businessman than a real fighter in his last few bouts, mainly concerned with big paydays instead of giving fans exciting fights. Arum questioned which Canelo will show up against Crawford, saying it only becomes a great matchup if Canelo truly comes to compete. Otherwise, he warned that Canelo's recent lack of energy and motivation could make for a dull showing, especially since Crawford always brings intensity and effort to the ring.
Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. But again, if Canelo really fights, because I think safe to say Terence always fights. He doesn't know anything else. So then it could be a very good, interesting fight.
You've always praised Terence as a special fighter. Do you think he can beat Canelo?
Who is Canelo? What Canelo is going to show up? The Canelo who's looking to cash a big check, or the Canelo that really wants to fight like a fighter? Now, the Canelo we've seen the last 2 years is not only boring, but doesn't really have an incentive to mix it up and to entertain people with a good fight.
Shakur Stevenson believes Terence Crawford will win the fight against Canelo Alvarez. While he respects Canelo's skill, Shakur says Crawford has the right tools to take the victory. When asked about the size difference, Shakur said it won't be a big deal this time. He explained that fighters like David Benavidez are much bigger, but Canelo is not especially tall or heavy compared to Crawford. Shakur also shared a talk with Bozy Ennis, where they agreed that if Canelo underestimates Crawford's punching power or loses focus, Crawford could end the fight early.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, you know, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, you know, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height-wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Corey, how you got a decision to stop this? Because Bradman and Bozy think that Bud actually might stop it.
Me and Bozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone and talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud can crack too.
Jim Lampley spoke highly of both fighters, but currently favors Canelo in a fight against Crawford. He called the matchup amazing and praised Crawford's ability to switch between offense and defense. Lampley admired Crawford's toughness and mental strength, especially in his fight with Errol Spence. Many expected Spence to win, but Lampley backed Crawford because of his deep boxing knowledge.
I do like him against Bud Crawford, but I do think that it's a great fight. Now, I could change my mind when we get closer. Bud Crawford, to me, is a latter-day Sugar Ray Robinson. He has the multiple skills of Sugar Ray Robinson. He can defend or attack. He has a deep inner mean streak that he can employ at any moment in a fight to get what he wants. You know, before the fight against, help me out here,
Madrimov was his last fight. Spence?
Spence.
Yes.
Before the fight against Errol Spence, there were quite a lot of people in the sport, in boxing media, who were saying, you know, I like Spence to win the fight. I was one of those people who said, no way. Errol Spence doesn't have the depth.
Jim Lampley ranked Terence Crawford as one of the best fighters of his generation, placing him on the same level as Canelo Alvarez. He explained that both men's greatness makes their fight very special. Lampley said that these fighters are not only skilled, but also very smart and strategic. Because of this, their matchup will be about more than just physical ability. It will be a battle of tactics and planning. He shared his excitement to watch how their styles and boxing minds come together inside the ring, expecting a fight full of skill, strategy, and heart.
And the intellectual understanding of prize fighting to beat Terence Crawford, who is the great professional of his era, along with Canelo Alvarez. That's why that's such a great fight. They are the two living, practicing ultra professionals in the sport. They know it inside out. And one way or another, it's going to be a spectacular intellectual matchup of two great ring strategists. Can't wait to see.
David Benavidez shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, saying Crawford has a real chance to win because of his high boxing IQ and deep experience in the ring. Still, Benavidez pointed out that moving up in weight could be a serious test for Crawford, who only recently competed at 154 pounds. He admitted that it's hard to predict how the jump in weight will impact Crawford's performance, and said that the difference in size might play a big role once the fight begins.
I think he does, bro. I think if anybody could beat Canelo, I think Bud, his IQ and his experience will definitely help him through. It's just that, you know what I mean? He's going up 2 other weight classes when he had just went up to 154, so we'll see what happens.
Shannon Briggs expressed strong confidence that Terence Crawford will win by knockout. He praised Crawford's punching power and said he believes the fight won't go the full 12 rounds. Briggs rarely places bets on boxing matches, but he said this time he would be willing to wager anywhere between $30,000 and $100,000 on Crawford to win. In his view, Crawford's strength and timing will be too much for Canelo to handle.
I mean, I'm going with Crawford. Yeah, he's strong. This is his moment. I'm going with Crawford by knockout.
By knockout?
Yeah, I'm betting too. And I don't even bet. I'm not even a gambling man.
How much are you gonna bet?
I don't even know. Anywhere from 1,000 to 100,000.
Wow. 100,000 Crawford, so not 1 round.
I'm going by Crawford by stoppage.
Okay,
Jaron Boots Ennis shared his opinion on the upcoming fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, leaning toward Canelo as the likely winner. He pointed out that even though Canelo is not a natural 168-pound fighter, he has managed to stop much bigger men, some of whom weigh close to 200 pounds by the time they enter the ring. Ennis said that this fight will definitely be exciting and is exactly the kind of big matchup that boxing fans look forward to. He also suggested that Crawford should consider having a tune-up fight at 160 pounds first. According to Ennis, this would help Crawford get used to facing bigger opponents, give him time to build more muscle, and allow him to stay sharp after his time off.
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68-pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. You know, it's gonna be a great fight. You know, the fans want to see it. So, you know, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. You know, at like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, you know, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger. You know, and things like that. You know. I know when you go up in weight, you gotta, you know, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.